You're perfect just the way you are. Or are you? Hello, my friends. My name is JC, and today I want to talk to you about change. So, what they say is the first thing about change is that you need to acknowledge that you need to change. And that's really, really hard for people. But let me ask you this. If you didn't need to change, then why are you seeking ascension in the first place? So, somewhere deep inside, you already know that you need to make a change, right? So, as your guide, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you a couple things that you can change. And remember, I teach the physical side of ascension. So, I'm going to give you some actual physical things that you can do and things that are going to affect your physical body. Okay. And I have this little list here. So, this isn't going to be a very long video. But, and these are usually things that I typically talk about, anyways. But they're just good to go over. Because these are the basic things that you need to change to help your ascension anyways, okay? So the first thing that I have on my list here is your diet. You need to eat organic, pesticide-free, non-processed food as much as possible. Old school food, basically, right? And you need to quit ingesting fluoride completely. Quit using it in your toothpaste. Quit drinking it in your water. Get some filters that take it out. Do whatever you can to get away from the fluoride. And quit eating dead meat. Now, honestly, that's still something that I personally struggle with. And I had my ascension experience several years ago. So it's not going to necessarily hinder you, but it might be something that you feel called to change yourself. You know, that's something that I tell everyone is you want to take what I give you and the information from the books and information from other teachers that have already had the experience, like Sadhguru is a good one. I know he's had the experience. Take all of our information and feel yourself what path and what things that you need to take from that, right? So I personally eat meat, but maybe you feel called not to. And like I said, the books say not to. It's a low vibrational dead food. Okay. Another thing you can change is your thoughts. You want to have a higher vibe, higher quality of thought. Now, somebody just asked me about this again today because I mentioned it recently in a video. They talk about it in the book, The God Man, The Word Made Flesh. So you have 7 hairs on the cells of your body. They call them spirilla. They're like little spiral hairs. And only a couple usually vibrate for low vibe people. So the higher quality of thought, the more you strive to reach ascension, the more you start to vibrate. And there's a couple aspects to this. So one, it automatically physically gives you a healthier body because you're literally changing the cells in your body. Okay. So you know, they're all vibrating at a different frequency now. And your thoughts affect this vibration. And so you're automatically going to be healthier. But then it also helps this rejuvenating oil be produced in your body every month on this monthly cycle that we're talking about. Okay? So you can definitely change your thoughts. There's tons of material out there on the internet about how to change your thoughts. For me personally, what helped me the most was positive affirmations. I love doing those. I still do those. I taught those to my children. My middle son that has a lot of issues, he's actually using those right now. And getting into the meditating and stuff. He's realizing that he personally needs that right now in his life. Another thing that you can change are your actions. Be kind. Give. Right? You have to give to get. It's just a rule. It's just part of it. It really is. Everyone will tell you that. You have to give to get. And you need to realize that we are all one, right? So that homeless beggar or this other person that doesn't look like you or act like you is still you. It is an aspect of you. So when you hate this person or ignore this suffering, then you're ignoring that within yourself. You're ignoring your yourself sitting there on the street suffering. That's you. And so you need to change your actions instead of just walking by or having these negative thoughts. Change your thoughts and change your actions to go with those, right? You have to change it. You have to have action behind the thought. So help them or do something. Do something, right? You have to do something. So you have to change your actions. Seed retention, which is an action, but you need to stop wasting your life essence. It's not your soul essence, but it's your physical essence, right? You need to retain that. Just seed retention alone, just like changing your thoughts automatically gives you a healthier body. So does seed retention, fluid retention. This automatically gives you a healthier body. There's so much good essence in that goes throughout your body when you retain that you can't supplement that, right? So when you're just spreading it around, you're literally killing yourself basically, because you could keep that. And I'm not saying keep it forever. Like, I'm pro-life. I believe in procreating, but there's a time and a way to do that. Another thing you can change is self-control, mindfulness, focusing, being goal-oriented. One thing that really worked for me, especially with focusing is very difficult, and I'm going to do a more in-depth video on that here coming up. I think actually my next one is on the list for focusing. But for now, I just want to say that, for one, you have to be goal-oriented, right? You have to have something to focus on in that regard. But also, for a long time, I didn't know what to focus on when meditating. I was all over the place, and there's tons of information and different ways to do it all. So what I settled on for me is I focus on the light. So I picture a white star in the dark void, and that's what I started focusing on. It helped me fall asleep. It helped me with meditating, and eventually that was the beginning of that experience. When I did meet the light, that's what it kind of looked like. So but before my experience, I pictured it as something outside of me, and since my experience now, I still picture the white light in the void, but I picture it in the center of my brain instead of out here in front of me. So those are some things that you can work on changing immediately, that will immediately have physical, real aspects to it that, you can change and will help you on your ascension. Okay, so diet, thoughts, actions, seed retention, self-control, mindfulness, focusing, being goal-oriented. And I want to say that working on yourself is not the same as the dark night. Okay, I say that often, and I just want to kind of mention that again, because people mix those up. Okay, the dark night of the soul is something that you're going to go through after your ascension process, whether you want to or not. And the working on yourself prior to ascension is not the dark night of the soul, right? It's just something that happens to you one day or night or middle of the afternoon. It's going to hit you after your ascension process, and you're going to go through something, right? Because again, this is like going from a caterpillar into a butterfly. We're changing. That's what this whole thing is about. It's change. So when you go through that metamorphosis, you're going to have your dark night of the soul, and you're going to want to have these tools for you to help you through that, right? So you have like a little ascension toolbox. Okay, so you have ascension videos, you have books, you have your skills. Okay, and so you're going to need that ascension toolbox not only to reach ascension, but to handle ascension afterwards. So in your little toolbox, you need to have good meditating skills. You need to have, here I got another little list. These are also things I always talk about, is meditating, positive affirmations, deep breathing, reading spiritual books, watching your videos. All right, take everything, and hopefully, you have some people that you can lean on, that you can also put in your little toolbox. I know not everyone has that, but if you do, that's a nice other little tools, emotional support and stuff like that. And if you're really suffering, reach out. You can reach out to me. I know a lot of teachers are unavailable, but I try my hardest to respond to people and stuff. So, I'm a resource. I'm a little tool in your toolbox. So, that's, I just want to make sure that people understand that those are two different things. Okay. And you need to work on yourself and make those changes in order to reach ascension and to have these fluids be created in your body. But again, you're going to need these tools to handle it afterwards. And even like years afterwards, I still have to go back to these tools all the time, and just to maintain, because now you have maintenance, right? So get some skills. Don't try to rush ascension. Okay. It'll happen when you're ready. But don't try and rush it. You may still need to decalcify and all kinds of stuff. Okay, so, and that has to do with the no fluoride. So, the first thing that we need to do is acknowledge that we need to make changes, and start educating yourself and figuring out what those changes are that you need to make to reach ascension, and then actually physically put those into action and move forward to make it happen, right? Okay, so my next coming up videos, I'm going to do, the next one is on focusing. Then we're going to do one on heart centering again. Then we're going to do one on how to move the sphenoid bone specifically. And another one I want to do is one on the spirilla and vibration, and just go more in depth into that. Okay. I love you, my friends. Good luck out there. Till next time.